to a brand new episode here on 1950's Farm. So the harvest of the soybeans continues, although we are quite a way across the field now, and we have gone another day almost, so the whole of October 1, pretty much. Can't remember quite what time it was when I started this field. I've worked until about 1 in the morning, and then we stopped, and then we were going again this morning at about 10. And yeah, this is where we are. We've not done too badly, to be fair. It's gone very, very well. The shed is full. I kind of sort of thought that possibly in that sort of front half that I set out for the soybeans was going to be more than enough. I kind of stupidly judged it on the corn, but obviously this field is 5 times the size of that cornfield, so I don't know why I based it on that on that field, but I did, because I'm an idiot. And yeah, the front half of that shed now is pretty full. I have left enough room to get down the side, but I realised today when I was taking one of the carts back to the shed to tip that the shed does actually have doors at each end, so as it is, it doesn't matter. I didn't realise that for a while, but yeah, the shed's got doors at each end, so it's not too bad. Obviously put the Massey Ferguson, blimey. I've obviously put the Ford N series on Follow Me, and I've got it running alongside, so it means now I don't have to stop and fetch it. Which I was watching the video that I put out where I started, and I got it on Follow Me, and I was sort of thinking, well, why don't you have that running alongside? You don't have to stop then. You just have to keep pressing the button every time you want to empty. So that's what we've done. We've run it alongside, and this isn't actually too unrealistic to what they would have done in the 1950s. A lot of farms were still using the I don't know the proper name or term for them, but what I call the sack combines, where it would go into the combine, and then it would go on a conveyor and then drop down, sort of slidey chute into sacks, and then there would be a man stood on the back, or woman, but usually a man, stood on the back, and then they would literally just, I'm guessing, sew the top of the bag across, and then just drop it down a chute, and then you'd have a tractor and a flatbed usually following, and then you would have another man, you'd have 2 men, one driving the tractor and then one to stack the sacks of wheat or whatever it was that you were harvesting into the sacks, and then take them back to the farm, where you would stack them. And there is actually a shed on this map that you would have stacked them in. So the one I showed you that we're going to take down and replace it with a bale store, that shed originally had a floor in it. As I say, we are slowly but surely taking that shed down, and that had a floor in it inside, so it was on sort of a ground on the first floor, and you would have stacked the sacks obviously at the top, and then I've asked an old a very old friend who said I can mention him, but he doesn't want his name mentioned, so we'll just call him an old friend who was working on a farm in those times in the UK, not in America, so things might be a bit different in America, I don't know, but and he was saying that it was stacked like that for 2 reasons. One is heat rises, so it was able to dry the sacks. 2, it stopped, sort of stray animals from piercing the bags open. And 3, he said, you still had the bottom of the shed to put your your like tractors or trailers or whatever in, and yeah, that was why it was done. So, but yeah, so as I say, we've been going along quite nicely. We're gradually getting there, slowly but surely. Oh, and the other thing I had to tell you as well was that I decided in the end not to trail the straw, and obviously, as you can see, I'm chopping it. And the reason, honestly, that's because I'm busy yakking away. Darn it. Oh dear. Never mind. And yeah, so I decided not to trail the straw, mainly because honestly, I've got till the end of November to get this drilled with wheat. Potentially, I've still got to plough it. I don't know whether to plough it or whether to drag it. The problem with dragging it is that I'm going to have the weed issue. So I might plough this. Now, ploughing that other field didn't take nowhere near as long as what I thought it would do. However, this is a much bigger field than that field. And when I say much bigger, it is considerably bigger. So not too sure what to do on that front, whether to plough it or whether to just drag it. As I say, the big issue with dragging it that I've got is that as I say, weeds will come through, which is no problem because we can spray it. But I know from spraying this the soybeans, and we did plough this land, so we only had to spray it to fertilise it. With that little sprayer, it did take a very long time. But we'll see what happens. We probably will just drag it and drill it, because as I say, I haven't got all that much time. Essentially, I've got until November the 2nd or November 2 to drill it. So it's going to take a Herculean effort to drill this field. I am half tempted to get the tractor with the drag going now. My biggest worry is that he will start from that end. I don't know how with course play to make sure he starts this side. I'm not sure how you do that. I tend to just sort of line him up in a field on a side that's nearest to where he's coming from, set course play up and just let him go, and then I'll just sort of drill from that side. But I mean, the other option that I've got is that I could plough it, they could drill it, sort of drag it down and then drill it on course play while I plough it. I mean, that's another option that I've got. The corn strip, don't have to worry about that. That can be ploughed over winter. That's no problem because that's just going to be corn again next year. So that's no real issue. As you can see with my soybean pile, it's a little bit big now. It's a little bit big. It's got considerably bigger than the last time when you saw it. And with this little trailer, I can't wait until we get to the sort of 2000s and I can have a 50,000 litre trailer. The only thing with that is, and this is why I say that I know you wouldn't do this in real life, but otherwise it just doesn't stack very well. And I did try and use the back loader that we've got to push it up, and that doesn't really work either. So I've unfortunately had to resort to doing this, which, as I say, I know is not proper, but I've got nothing to push it up with. So it's kind of like just, although I'm trying to get everything as sort of accurate as I can, there are compromises that need to be that need to be made, and that is one of them. Might be just as quick to go here this way. So yeah, but it's been a busy old time, and we are getting there. We are getting there. The one thing I didn't notice when I was after I planted and was fertilising, I didn't, for whatever reason, didn't notice that bit there didn't grow. No, that bit over there, is it? There is a bit here that didn't grow. No, it's not that bit. There's a bit up here somewhere that just didn't grow anything. I can't see it. Oh, it might be, I don't know. Might be that bit up there. Top left of your screen. Ah, it's that bit there. That bit there just didn't grow anything. But yeah, so I don't know why. Like I say, I hadn't noticed at all in the growing season when I was sort of fertilising this field and spraying it, because I did spray and fertilise this field. I didn't notice that for whatever reason, but yeah, it's been ideally what I should do is get another one of these trailers and shove it on the back. I don't know whether, well, this little Ford end seems to be able to pull anything. Like I say, there's no way on earth it should have. Oh, I was right down there. There's no way on earth it should be able to pull that John Deere plough that I've got, and it does, and it pulls it really well. It probably pulls it better than the crawler. But that, as I say, I'd sort of, that crawler, as I explained in probably the last episode or the episode before, is not representative of what the dairy farm had at the time, in terms of it was a John Deere crawler that they had. John Deere released the crawler in and around the same time as the plough, and as I said, the reason they did the plough as big as what they did was to prove that, or to demonstrate the traction that crawlers had over wheel tractors. And why are you not? Oh, I know why. Yeah, it was to demonstrate the traction that crawlers had over the wheel tractors, and that crawler was as close as I could get to what they had in real life. Someone as well has pointed me in the direction of a chopper that I'd be able to use for silage. So hopefully I will get a chance to look that up and to see whether or not it's something that we could do, because I say the dairy is going to buy the grass field opposite. Whilst I'm trying to sort of recreate the machinery and sort of the things that happened on the farms, if you like, with the dairy and the whatever. Obviously the fields, this map is not a representation of the dairy or Harry's farm or anything like that. So this is me just plonked both, sort of found two farms that were quite close together, and sort of plonked both my farms in. So the field layouts are not the same. The field sizes are probably not the same. I would imagine that this field is a lot bigger than what they would have had, back in the day. That would be my guess, at least. I was tempted when I first loaded the game in to divide this field up, because as the years passed we could soon, sort of turn it back to one field again, but decided in the end to sort of keep it the way it was, mainly because I think this field demonstrates really well the what am I trying to say? The work that was required to do the jobs back in 1950. You know, sort of this field would demonstrate really well why today's modern machinery is the way it is, but also as well it helps to, as I say, just sort of show, you know, the fact that farming back then, and I'm told by my old friend, as I'll call him, who does watch my videos, well, he does watch this series, that he, in his opinion, and he's still heavily involved in farming today, in his opinion, tractor driving and farming was far more enjoyable back then than it is now. You know, and to a point I would have to agree, because the very first farm I worked on was just sort of a normal arable farm. It didn't have no GPS. It didn't, you know, there was nothing like that on the farm. It was sort of always good quality second-hand machinery that we had, but the skill in tractor driving was the tractor driver. You know, I used to love ploughing on their tractor for them, because I'd say I had to drive it straight, and so to plough a field and look back and it's, you know, sort of perfectly straight is a really good feeling, and it's what got me my job on the 5,500 acre farm that I eventually got on. The farm manager from that farm was driving by. They were only just down the road. They weren't very far away. It's probably about 4 or 5 miles away. And he was driving by and see what I was doing. And I'd stopped for my lunch. And he came across and said, "Are you using GPS?" And I said, "No, I'm like doing it myself." And he said, "Well, I'm highly impressed." And he sat and had a couple of rounds with me in the afternoon, and I don't know. The thing was, when he offered me the job, I just said, "No, I'm not. I love it here," you know. And then he was like, "Well, how much do you earn?" And I didn't tell him exactly. I just sort of gave him a rough ballpark figure, and he said, "Well, you know, you can in the summertime you can probably triple what you're earning here, and the rest of the year you could near enough double what you're earning. They're not paying you the proper wage." And I sort of didn't, you know, I just thought it was underhand tactics. And eventually he came to me and showed me what I should have been being paid, and I was being paid considerably less than what I should have been being paid. And I went to my bosses and said, "Look, you know, actually this is what I should be being paid." And they went, "You've got no chance. You're, you know, nothing but a second tractor driver," you know. And that was it. I just thought, well, in which case, if that's how much I'm valued, then I left. I went to my bigger farm, or went to the bigger farm. When I got there, GPS took the fun out of tractor driving. The only time really I used to use GPS was if I was instructed to, which if we were doing veg planting, you were told you had to use it. And I get that, I understand that. And the only other time I would use it was for drilling, when I was drilling, just because it is obviously important that the tram lines are in the right place, and you know the field is perfectly straight all the way across. But ploughing, 99% of the time, I used to plough that freehand, and you know that was what I did. Anyway, I've waffled on for far too long, so I'm going to switch you over to some music, and I'm going to crack on with this field, and hopefully by the end of the video we should have this field done. And I might, if there's time, I might plough this, just because I don't think it would take me all that long to get across. But anyway, we will we will endeavour to find out what I end up doing. But I'll see you in a little while after some lovely music. Bye for now. how we all doing? So that's this field now complete. I was then gonna, with the rest of the video, gonna crack on with some other jobs, but alas, the memory message has come up, and yeah, so we'll have to end the video there. I'll have to get it uploaded, and then I can record another one then. Boy, I can't wait for my new PC. But anyway, that's enough of my problems. Yep, so this has been, as you saw, harvested. We've got it in the shed. Now, does anybody know of a mod? Because I have had a look. See, I can speak English. I have had a look, and I can't find one at the moment, but I've sort of had a quick look. I've not looked extensively like I did a few days ago, or a week or so ago, for the John Deere crawler, but I have had a quick look, and I haven't been able to find anything yet of an auger that I'm able to kind of stick in the pile, and then it will auger the pile up into a trailer. Because obviously I have to load that the sugar beet. I have to reload that soybeans into a trailer, obviously, to sell them. I'd got quite a long way in when I decided to just have a little look to see whether my little loader that goes on the back of the Ford N would indeed reach over a trailer, a lorry on the back of the trailer on the back of a lorry, and it doesn't. By quite a long way it doesn't. So I'm going to need an auger. I had a look online, and that was a way that they used to do it. They used to have an auger, 2 men, and a lorry. So I'm carrying on down here because I think, if I remember correctly, I didn't quite get all of it down here. Perhaps I did, actually, by the looks of that. Yeah, I did. I can't see no more. So that's it done. Yeah, so I had a look, and basically 2 men, well, what are you following them for? Oh, I know why, because I didn't press that one. Has that worked? Nope. Honestly, since I had to remap my keys, just quickly run down here. Then nothing works as it should. I've missed a couple of bits there, look, but that's okay. Yeah, so you had 2 men, a lorry, and basically the 2 men stood either. So they shoved the end of the auger end, obviously, of the elevator into the pile, and then 2 men just shoveled. The old guy that I talked to, apparently that was his job. He worked on a farm in England, and that was one of his jobs. And he said, like, it was physically one of the most demanding jobs, because obviously the lorries were there, and he said, like, well, yes, you used to just keep shoving it as deep in, but when the piles got to a certain sort of height where the auger could no longer sort of draw it into itself to load the lorries, you know, he said, like, you had to shovel like crazy for probably, you know, sort of 45 to an hour, minutes to an hour, just making sure that this auger was continually filled with crop. Otherwise, apparently, it used to get really hot. So it sounds really exhausting. But so I'm looking for an auger that I can basically poke into the pile, so that it will suck the pile up. Now, I can find like the Grimmy ones where you just basically back it up, and it will just sort of lift the pile from a mile away into the trailer, but obviously that's not in keeping with the save game, and I don't really want to use that. But if there's no other auger I might not have any choice, because I need to get that, obviously I need to get the crop out of the shed into the trailer, and the same with the corn as well. We wouldn't have got much further back here actually until the would have got the message about the thingy. But yeah, so we've got I think is it half a trailer I think left to put in, and yeah, that's our soybeans for this year. And then, as I say, we've got to get on. Whether I'm going to plough it or not, I don't know. I just don't know whether there's going to be the time. So it may have to be that we drag and drill, and then we'll have to spray it. But yeah, that's something that we need to sort of decide. I mean, there might be time. I mean, there's still a bit of time today, and we've got till November to plant it. So why didn't I put follow me on to follow me back? What a wally. Yeah, so we've got till November 2 to plant it. So you know, maybe there might be time, but this is as I say, a really big field. But if I start from this end, this road end, and get all of this done, it's that bit up there that takes time because it's so fiddly. That was the bit that took the time with the harvesting. In the end, I decided to just harvest that bit round and round and round and round like I did at this end, but get that all done and sort of square the field off. Once I sort of squared the field off, it became a lot easier then. There's a Ford N up here somewhere. I can't see it. Oh, there it is. Yeah, so that's what I decided to do, just because it was getting so fiddly. And with having Follow Me as well, it was catching on the trees and different things. So in the end, I just sort of thought, well, you know, I'll just do it that. I'll sort of square it off and round it. And as I say, that's what I did. So anyway, we'll get this back to the yard and we will get that tipped. And then, as I say, that'll be it for this episode. Hopefully you've all enjoyed it again. As I said on the other episode at the end, I didn't quite mean it as self-important as it sounded, but what I meant at the end of the last episode and this episode has been a really enjoyable episode again to record. It's really interesting to kind of and to get an understanding of actually what life would have been like on the farm in 1950, or 51 as it is now, but in the 50s, and getting up into the 60s, and by the time you get into the 60s, in the 70s, things are getting bigger and bigger and bigger. Things are getting more reliable, and it's very interesting going to be very interesting to see that growth, to see that if you just picked up a really loud whirring noise, then that's because a Agrafax self-propelled sprayer just went by, and I've got the window open because it's bloody hot today. So I've got the window wide open. And my microphone is very good at picking up everything. But yeah, so if you're wondering what that was, I haven't been invaded by a Boeing 747 nor a ghost. It was an Agrafax self-propelled sprayer. Now, I live not too far from a spraying contractor, and they've got a fleet of them, and pretty much all day all you hear is those sprayers going up and down. But yeah, anyway, just in case the microphone picked it up, that's what it was. But right, we're going to leave it there for today's episode. If you haven't already, don't forget to like, comment and subscribe. It really does help the channel. Say it every time, but it's true. And all that's left to say is thanks ever so much for joining me on this episode. I've really enjoyed having your company, and I really hope to see you in the next one. Bye for now.